The Chozos may be the greatest lore mystery in all of the Metroid saga, as well as being the most important piece of lore in its franchise. They are a confusing bunch of people with amazing secrets, and it's still to this day a thorough mystery as to how they've survived so far. There are a couple of theories floating about. What I present to you today is one of, albeit flawed, timeline explanation as to how the colonization of planet ZDR happened, and what it means for the Metroid saga, and how it happened. Eons ago, the Chozo stopped waging their needless wars. Becoming the mightiest species in the galaxy, they sought to expand their wealth of knowledge, and sent off to the cosmos, searching for worlds to share and gain wisdom. In their efforts, they've met countless tribes and different species. The Luminoth, the Bryonians, Ilias, and more we do not know of. As they split it off, some established colonies to research and become something anew within their new home, granting themselves illumination, separating them from the main branch of the Chozo, distinguishing them on a biological level from their brethren. They need changes within themselves they did not know possible, and cutting ties with their kin. Along these galaxy-wide searches, the Chozo came to a troubling discovery on the world called SR-388. They found a species of creature so dangerous that it couldn't be left unattended. They called it the X-Parasite. Seeking to rid this galaxy's threat, they designed a hunter on their own planet of Zebes to fight this predator. They called it the Metroid. After they designed this newly formed life form, they transported it to SR-388 to do their design work. And it worked. Too well, in fact. In an attempt to control these monsters, they conjured a new plan to assign their ultimate AI to these predators in order to use them for the benefits of the galaxy's peace. Alas, it wasn't enough. The Metroids kept evolving to defy the creator, and in fear the Chozos flooded and sealed the Metroid within the caves of SR-388, fearing to never use the Mother Brain again, after the AI thoughts became more and more dangerous. Decades later, the Chozo started an alliance with various other races to keep the galaxy safe. They called it the Galactic Federation, and the Chozo were amongst the first to be part of this organization, sharing technology and knowledge to help fight the atrocities of the space pirate threat. Celestial charts, weapons, peace treaties were shared between all of them, yet the Chozos remained to stay on the sidelines. After investigating countless worlds in hopes of helping other species, one of the Chozos found a small girl left alone amongst the rubble of a destroyed colony. They took her in and made her part of their own, until she became an adult and left of her own accords. This child was Samsis herself. All followed up well, until the invasion started. The space pirates attacked their world on Zebes, killing a large portion of the Chozos who chose to remain peaceful. Some, in an attempt to preserve Chozo's legacy, fled away, the remnants of the warrior faction mayhaps. The Galactic Federation tried their best at helping their allies in need, but they were not enough against the ruthlessness of the space pirates. They've ravaged their land and stole their tech to gain immeasurable amounts of power. And it all worked. The Chozos, seeing on how their own world got torn to shreds, realized they were not strong-willed enough. The long piece of faction did not save them in a time of need. So they cut off their presence to the cosmos, to a distant, unknown world where they could rebuild and become something greater, something mightier, something stronger. They flew away to planet ZDR, reconstructing in preparation to become the greatest power in the galaxy once more. And this would be the end of my proposed Chozo's history timeline. But what does this one explain about the Chozo's history? Well, in this scenario, my theory would be that the Chozo once stood as a warrior race that stopped their own community's destruction to better their sense of selves and become one with the galaxy itself. Following in their search for ultimate wisdom, they shared what they knew with other intelligent life forms in order to amass greater powers. They've never stopped at sharing tech and swords prior, and haven't stopped doing so until the invasion of Zebes. The founding of the Galactic Federation stands as a major point in this timeline. The Chozos were a species of generous character. it stands to reason that they would share information around their species and how the community is faring. If so, their total desperation after the invasion of Zebes and inability to be traced stands as greater motives to cut ties with the unfaithful allies, rather than simply not knowing where they were, or even complete extermination. If we assume that the Chozos who settle in Zebes are in fact the main branch, then they are physically very similar to the one that we saw in Dread's trailer. Their depiction of them on Zebes, as seen on the statues of Zero's missions, are faithful to their representation here. Physiology is too similar for me to believe that they are completely separate factions of the Chozo like the ones that we saw in Talent 4. Different Chozo colonies did not share much of their history following their settlements on planet, so I don't believe colonies had many interactions between them. And finally, Samus herself. Samus is a silent protagonist, so it's hard to understand exactly what she knows. But the thing that's always struck me as odd, wouldn't she know of a colony on ZDR if she was raised by the Chozo? Wouldn't she want to go looking for them after being noticed of the invasion on Zebes and try to track them down, the last of her community? This leads me to believe that ZDR's colony was founded right after Zebes' invasion, giving us a 15 to 20 year gap, give or take, where they could have easily established a new order and try to become a dominant power in rising a new army. This is but a proposed timeline of events. This could very easily change and things on this timeline could be switched around. I'll be the first to say this. With that said, what if maybe it was part of something more? What if there was another way to explain this in greater details? What if you could give a potential new explanation to planet's ZDR's colony being alive and well? Ladies and gentlemen, my partner for this collaboration, HiggZ.
Hey Ollie, thanks for having me on the show. Now, we know that the Chozos shared information liberally with other races, especially the ancient ones such as the Luminoth. We know they founded the Galactic Federation, but there's still one thing I still can't wrap my head around. We still haven't had any confirmation of the name of their original homeworld, and actually, we don't know why they didn't warn the Galactic Federation about the Phazon disaster or the X-Parasite threat. Thinking about all this, as part of our shared collaboration, I created a second possible explanation and may have solved the question of the Chozo motherland. It's over on my channel HiggZ, and we'd be more than happy to see you there to further the discussion and the hype for this amazing game. Ollie, thanks so much for this collaboration on the mystery of the Chozo. It's been a lot of fun to work with you, and I hope our communities will continue to cross paths for many an era.